In this video, you're going to learn how to reverse type 2 diabetes in normal weight diabetics. In more detail, here's what you can expect to learn. First, we'll learn about the prevalence of type 2 diabetes in normal weight individuals. After all, frequently, recommendations for diabetes reversal are given for overweight and obese individuals, but what about those who are of normal weight? Then we're going to talk about the three most important nutritional factors for overweight diabetics and how they differ from those for normal weight diabetics. After that, you learn a bit about the extras prescription for normal weight diabetics, and again, how that is different from the extras prescription for obese and overweight diabetics. Before we jump in, who am I? My name is Igor. I'm the author of the Amazon best-selling book called Type 2 Diabetes Reversal Secrets. I've also made the first chapter of that book available to you by clicking on the link below. That chapter is titled 11 Diabetes Myths That Are Harming Your Health. That link is in the description. As well, I run an online personal training company that specializes in helping type diabetics reverse their diabetes, and I train other trainers in my methodology for how to work with diabetics and others by speaking at personal training conferences and have been doing so since 2013 as well. I've done over 400 presentations to some of Canada's largest corporations, including IBM, Bosch, American Express, University of Toronto, Investors Group, and others. If you want to learn when I publish more videos about diabetes, diabetes reversal, and more, just like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So let's talk about the prevalence of prediabetes and type 2 diabetes in normal weight individuals. Here is one study that looks at people who are of normal weight living in the United States of America and are over 45 years old. That study of a very large number of people showed that 33.1% of normal weight individuals over the age of 45 have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. So this is a substantial number of people. Now, why is that? How can normal weight people have diabetes or prediabetes? Well, that's because the weight is not the same as body fat. Everybody has a personal fat threshold at which point they go from insulin sensitive to insulin resistant, non-diabetic to pre-diabetic, and eventually diabetic. Um, Here is another study titled Body Adiposity and Type 2 Diabetes Increased Risk with a High Body Fat Percentage, even having a normal BMI or body mass index. So in this study, what researchers did is they looked at 4,820 individuals and they compared diabetics to non-diabetics who had the same weight. And that's the key, they had the same weight. Here were the results. They found that compared to diabetics, non-diabetics had a lower body fat percentage at the same weight. So the average diabetic woman of normal weight had a body fat percentage of 35.5%. The average woman of the same weight who is not a diabetic had a body fat of 30.3%. The average diabetic man of normal weight had a body fat percentage of 25.2%. The average non-diabetic man of a normal weight had a body fat percentage of 19.9%. So that tells us that it's not just about the weight. In fact, weight doesn't make a heck of a lot of a difference. It's really about the body fat percentage. And so we know that from my other videos that the three most important nutritional factors for overweight and obese diabetics, in order from most important or impactful to least important, it's not carbohydrates, it's actually calories are the most important. Normalizing calories for overweight and obese diabetics has the potential to lower HbA1c by as much as 4%. Normalizing fiber intake in overweight and obese diabetics has the potential to lower A1c by as much as 2.5%. And finally, carbs. The difference between a high carb diet and a low carb diet of the same calories is about 1%. And if you want to dive way more into detail on this, I have an entire, very thorough video about a diet to reverse insulin resistance, which is appearing on your screen right now and is in the description below. So if you want to delve deeper, go and check that out. So those are the three most important nutritional factors for obese and overweight diabetics. What about the three most important nutritional factors for normal weight diabetics? Well, contrary to the previous group, this group, their most important factor is protein, not calories. Why not calories? Because they're already eating the right number of calories. And how do we know this? Because they're of normal weight. It's just the composition of the calories is too much in favor of carbohydrates and fats and not enough in favor of protein. Because again, remember from a couple of slides ago that the key difference between normal weight diabetics and normal weight non-diabetics is not their weight, because the weight is the same, is the body fat percentage. And protein helps you shift the body fat percentage more in favor of a non-diabetic range. The rest of the factors are the same. So fiber and carbs are still the second and third most important factors for normal weight diabetics. And so if you're wondering, if protein is the most important thing, how much protein should I eat? Well, protein requirements depend on three different factors. One is your activity levels. Are you sedentary? Are you doing cardio only? Are you doing strength training only? Or are you doing cardio plus strength training? So activity level is one factor. The second factor is your age. Are you over 60 or under 60? People over 60 require more protein because their digestion isn't as good and therefore their ability to absorb protein is lower. And the third factor is your body weight. So again, the three factors that determine your protein requirements are your activity levels, your age, and your body weight. Okay, if you want to do the math here, you can pause this video, you look at the chart, find which situation aligns most with you, and do the math. If you don't feel like doing math, just go to this protein calculator on the website to plug in your variables and it'll spit out the exact number of protein grams you need. It is www.fitnesssolutionsplus.ca/protein, and that link is also in the description below. And so if you're wondering, what are the best protein sources? Well, the best protein sources are the ones with 30 grams of protein per serving or more. These are what I call grade A protein. Some examples are tuna, protein powder, shrimp, beef, chicken. And this list is not exhaustive. There are other grade A protein. Grade B protein is what I call anything that has between 10 and 30 grams of protein per serving. Some examples would be chickpeas, which have about 12 to 14 grams per serving. Greek yogurt, same thing, 12 to 14 grams. Lentils, 16 to 18 grams. Beans, also 12 to 14 grams. So these are grade B protein. And finally, there is grade C protein. These are things that people often say are good protein sources, but they're actually not very good protein sources because they have very little of it. They have less than 10 grams of protein per serving. Most cheeses are, except for cottage cheese, are very poor protein sources. One slice of cheese or one cube of cheese has about 5 or 6 grams of protein. One egg has about 6 grams of protein. One glass of milk has 9 grams of protein. All vegetables are very, very low in protein at under 5 grams per serving. And nuts, they're very, very high in calories and very low in protein at about 5 or 6 grams per handful. And if you're wondering, what about this food or what about that food, that can also be found in the link we talked about earlier. And so if the first most important variable is protein for normal weight diabetics, the second most important one is fiber. And so how much fiber should normal weight diabetics be eating? Well, diabetics have higher fiber requirements compared to non-diabetics. Diabetics need about 17 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories. So if a diabetic is eating 2,000 calories per day, they need 34 grams of fiber. If they are eating 3,000 calories per day, they need 51 grams of fiber, and so on. And if you're wondering what are the best fiber sources, here are the best ones that have 6 grams per serving or more. Buckwheat, yellow corn, oats or oatmeal, chia seeds, chickpeas, all very rich sources. And here are a few others. Flax seeds, lentils, beans, blackberries, blueberries, dates, and prunes. Now, if you're wondering about these two last ones, I mean, you might be thinking to yourself, I'm a diabetic, I have high blood sugar. Dates, prunes, blueberries, blackberries are very sweet. Don't they raise blood sugar? Well, in fact, fruits, including dried fruits, are actually quite good for diabetics. And I filmed an entire 5.5-minute video on this in a different video. So check this out on your screen right now or in the description below about the 2 reasons why fruits are actually good for type 2 diabetics despite being sweet. Now, let's talk about strength training for normal weight diabetics. Here is one study titled Effect of Aerobic Exercise on Plasma Adiponectin Levels and Insulin Resistance in Type 2 Diabetics. I know we're talking about strength training, so you're wondering what about aerobic exercise? Why am I posting about that here? To give you a little contrast between the effects of cardio in overweight diabetics versus normal weight diabetics. In this study, cardio lowered HbA1c by about 1.0 to 1.2%. That's really, really good. Now, Strength training has a slightly lower effect than cardio in normal weight and overweight diabetics, slightly less than 1.0 to 1.2. It's between 0.8 to 1.0. Very close, but not quite. Now, in normal weight diabetics, strength training is actually far superior to cardio. It's by far the most important. And here's a study titled Strength Training is More Effective Than Aerobic Exercise for Improving Glycemic Control and Body Composition in People with Normal Weight Type 2 Diabetes. Here's what happened in this study. They recruited 186 normal weight diabetics and divided them into three different groups. Group number one did strength training only. Group number two did cardio only. Group number three did both cardio and strength training. Now, what do you think happened? Well, here's what happened. Here were the results. Here were the changes in A1C. Group number one that did strength training only lowered their A1C by 0.44%. Group number two that did cardio only dropped their A1C by 0.24%. Now, you would think that if you combine those two, if you do both cardio and strength training, you would lower your A1C by even more. Well, the fact is, not really. So, in normal weight diabetics, it appears that strength training alone is actually more effective than cardio and more effective than combining strength training with cardio. And if you're wondering why is that, because after all, in overweight and obese diabetics, the combination of cardio and strength training is more effective than just cardio or just strength training. But that's not the case with normal weight diabetics. Why is that? Because here's what else this study found. As a result of strength training, group number one gained over the duration of the study 0.3 kilograms of muscle. Okay, that is just under a pound. Group number two actually lost muscle because all they did was cardio. They lost 0.37 kilograms of muscle. In the combined group, they lost 0.23 kilograms of muscle. So that gives you a clue as to why strength training only is more effective at lowering blood sugar compared to combining the two or even cardio alone. Now, here's a little caveat though. In this study, all they did is they gained 0.3 kilograms of muscle in a 9-month period. That's terrible. In a 9-month period, they should be able to gain much more muscle than that. And I think there are much better ways of strength training properly for diabetes. And in fact, if you want to learn how to strength train properly for diabetes, check out this video, very, very thorough, that I recorded a while back. It's 12 minutes about which exercises to do, how many sets, repetitions, weights, and more, how many times per week. You will learn all of that in this video. So either click that on the screen right now or in the description below.